Hello there. I'm continuing with my analysis and demonstration of my games in the Split Open tournament. So we are now at the round 6. As you can see, again, I played a much stronger opponent. So, like I said several times, you either play a beginner or a much stronger opponent. So this opponent is over 1900 rated, and as you will see in this game, I played rather well, and in fact I was better for the most part of the game. So I'm glad that I proved that I can play with the players of this strength. The problem is that I don't have experience or technique to convert the winning position. So you will see I made a wrong strategical decision at one point to trade queens, and I just gave away all my advantage. So, and then the position was equal, and then him being a better player, more experienced player in the end game, he just managed to go from the equal draw position, let's say equal position to winning the game. Okay, this was a long game, and I have analyzed it very deeply with my chessboard and well, as usual with my notebook. So I have my notes here, and I will analyze the game from my notes. So my method of analyzing is that I analyze with my notebook and my board, so without any help of the computer. Then I put it in a computer and then check my analysis with the engine, and also I ask advice from a stronger player from the club who helps me from time to time. I ask him to clarify some of the positional mysteries in the game. Okay, so let's go to the game. Okay, so my opponent played d4. I just responded my usual d5, and he went for the London game. So how I think the London should be treated is that you should put c5 as soon as possible, maybe immediately, or maybe you can keep the flexibility, but c5 is a way to meet the London, because then you, as a black, you grab some space, you challenge the center, you challenge the way of play, how London system players want the game to go. So they want their fixed pawn structure, they want their pyramid here, they want all their pieces in the familiar places, and then they want to play some planes they know of. So the c5 move is the best way to just put them out of their comfort zone, I think. But I still played knight f3, just being a little bit flexible, see what he will do. You know, he might go maybe c4, or I don't know. And when he played e3, I knew that he was going to play the London, so I put in c5 immediately. I mean, he can take, but it's not advisable. I can just play with this with tempo, attacking. I mean, there are plenty of. I can just give away this pawn and just develop, and he'll have problems in development and so on. So you don't take this. c3. Okay, now bishop f5. This is a little bit controversial move. To put this bishop out so early, because you are always you're weakening your b7 square. So computer doesn't like this. He thinks that I should play just knight to c6 here. But okay, I just wanted to put my bishop out of the pawn chain so I can play e6, and this light square bishop, who is always the problem in the queen pawn game, will thus be solved and liberated outside the pawn chain. Knight to f3, he's just continuing his London system. e6, closing, the bishop is out. Knight b to d2, knight b to d7, so just normal developing moves. Bishop to e2. Yeah, he obviously cannot put it to d3, so he has to play passively. The alternative was that he could play bishop to d3 here if he wanted to exchange bishops. I will probably take, because this is my bad bishop. But after the knight is here, he doesn't cover this space. Okay, and here I made the first tunnel vision, first you can say tactical mistake. So I played knight to h5. So you can see that, well, first I'm moving the same piece twice in the opening, and this is not advisable. My king is far from castling. I still have to develop my bishop on one of these squares, and then I have to castle, and only then I should think about moving the same piece for the second time. So this violates opening principles. But I thought it was justified because I was thinking that he has to part from this bishop and that I will get the advantage of bishop pair. So I was thinking here I will just capture it, here I will capture it, here, and obviously he cannot go anywhere. So I thought, great, I will win a bishop pair, and okay, I can move the piece twice. This is a good compensation. But what I didn't see, just didn't see, is that he has this escape square for the bishop. So he played bishop g5, and now, yeah, now I just wasted the move. So I have to come back with this knight anyway. Not just wasting the move, but now I'm almost obliged to play bishop to e7, although Engine thinks that I should come back with the knight immediately here. Keep the pin, because the problem is that this is my strong bishop. You can see that my pawns are on the light squares, so this is my bad bishop, this is my good bishop. So I'm giving away the good bishop for his bad bishop, because his pawns are on the dark squares. So this is his bad bishop, and yeah, so it would be better to avoid this exchange, but okay, I just wanted to complete my development, and I was thinking that, okay, this bishop is not so bad. I mean, it's outside the pawn chain, so it's at least it's activated. It's not like that this bishop is here. So I played bishop to e7, we exchanged bishops, and now he played typical London move, knight to e5, and you will see that his strategy is to keep this knight here for a long time, fixed. And well, my goal is to make this to prove that this knight here is not so relevant. I come back with my knight on the rim. It doesn't do anything. Knight d to f3. Now he makes backup for his knight. So if I take the knight, he can install the other knight there. The Engine, so interesting possibility here. He saw g4 as an alternative. So g4 here, putting lots of pressure and taking space. So I would probably have to play something like either give up the bishop here or retreat. I mean, I will have to part with my bishop. So probably something like this would happen. And now, okay, he has something. I guess something like this would happen. So this is a very interesting move here, g4, which neither of us saw. So he played knight d to f3. I now played h6 because I wanted to have escape square for my bishop, and also I'm covering g5 square. So if he attacks, I can retreat if I want immediately or not. So castles, and now he played knight to h4, attacking my bishop. And now I can retreat immediately, but I decided, okay, let's try to provoke a weakness. So let's make a forward move instead, bishop to e4, and if he attacks the bishop, I can always retreat back. And I will also provoke a weakness in this way. Okay, and he played very unusual move, which I didn't foresee. I didn't even consider. I mean, it's a f4 move. So he's fortifying his knight here. Now this knight is very strong, but it's still not an outpost. You can see that this knight can be chased away with f6. So this is not, strictly speaking, an outpost. But on the other hand, he's giving me an outpost. So e4 is typical outpost because he doesn't have any pawns to challenge it. So I can use now e4 as outpost, and he doesn't get outpost in return. So I think this wasn't a good move. Okay, at this point I thought that okay, my bishop served the purpose. It provoked some weaknesses, some dubious moves, and I can just attack the bishop in the safety. I can see that now this bishop is pretty good. I have a good diagonal. He put his knight back to f3. I mean, this knight doesn't do here anything. It also served his purpose, for good or the worst. And now I played c4. So I was thinking a lot about this position. I mean, what to do, what pawn breaks do I have, should I be playing on the king side or the queen side? And I decided to play on the queen side. It looks to me that I could grab some space with c4. I don't like playing c4 too early, but here, you know, I can grab some space, I can put my rooks there. I have the bishop hitting the queen side, so it looks correct for me to play on the queen side. Okay, and now he played h3 here. let me just see if there was some. Okay, I mean, I'm not sure about this h3 move. I guess he was afraid that I will come with the knight on g5, g4, and then challenge this weak e3 square. Also, I forgot to say, another idea behind playing bishop to h7 is to liberate this ideal square for my knight. So you can see that I can put the knight here on e4, and then I can bring another knight to back up the knight. So it turned out to be very nice. Okay, here by c4 I am also blocking his bishop. So this is supposed to be his good bishop because he has all the pawns on the dark squares. But now, I mean, thanks to my pawns, this bishop doesn't have much. I mean, what will he do? So in this way, I neutralize his good bishop, and this is quite an achievement. Okay, h3, and now I'm just going to take this outpost, knight to e4, queen to e1. Okay, he wants, I guess, to activate his queen in some way. Another knight comes to f6. Now I have placed this knight here eternally. I mean, he cannot challenge it. He doesn't have any pawns. Knight to d2. Okay, now he obviously wants to take the knight, so this exchange will happen. So it might as well be me initiating the exchange, because afterwards I have again a knight e4 with a tempo. So this is what happened. We exchange knights, and now I play knight e4 with a tempo. He came back. Okay, and now in this position I was thinking, okay, everything is fine. I have a very strong knight here. This bishop is a good backup. I need to activate my rooks, and I played rook a to c8. The engine thinks it's slight inaccuracy. He wanted me to play something like knight to d6, backward knight move, probably to put it on this outpost or something. But yeah, I mean, I will play this again. I just want to activate all my pieces and to develop all my pieces. Knight to f3 now. I guess he realized that the knight on e5, although it looks strong, it looks powerful, it doesn't really do anything. So you can just as well remaneuver it somewhere else. Yeah, and now his plan here he's obviously annoyed by my knight on e4, and he wants to exchange my knight. So he's doing basically, you'll see, he'll do this maneuvering just to challenge my knight, and he'll put the bishop here. And then he will exchange both of my minor pieces. And the problem with this plan, with his plan, is that he has to make 1, 2, 3, 4 moves to do this. And I have 4 moves to grab to do what I want to do. And in this particular position, I want to play on the queen side. I want to grab some space on the queen side. And you will see that my plan was correct, and I managed to achieve to come to the better, maybe winning position thanks to this strategy and this decision. Let me just check my notes if I forgot something to say. Okay. I said everything I wanted to say. I'm just double checking. Okay, so knight f3, and now I'm just taking the space on the queen side and grabbing some opportunities. Again, he's remaneuvering. I'm just playing. I'm just taking space, and I'm ready to make this break. I have the rook ready, and I'm ready to break this at some point. Bishop to f3 again. He's just wasting moves. I play b4 now. Okay, the agent thinks this is a blunder, and he thinks that I shouldn't because. This b4 move leads to the exchange of both of these pieces. And the engine obviously thinks that this bishop is strong and I shouldn't exchange it. So instead I should have played knight to d2, and when he takes, now b4. So engine is okay with me playing b4, but he wants me to keep this bishop. You know, now this bishop, sorry, has now some nice squares here. So it looks like that I didn't think this through. Maybe I should have thought about keeping my bishop, because now, paradoxically, my light square bishop is better than his light square bishop. So yeah, this is, I mean, the engine says blunder, but I would say this is just a mistake. So I played b4 immediately, And now he took the knight, and I have to take with my bishop, because otherwise if I take with the pawn, then this bishop will be completely out of the game. So I have to take with my bishop, he takes with the knight, I take back with the pawn. Okay, now we exchange minor pieces, and you can see that I have all this space, and I have the opportunity to create passed pawn now, even on the queen side. Queen to b1, just let me see when I'm... Okay, now he's attacking my pawn. I'm playing f5, queen to c2, and now I'm opening the position with b takes c3. Okay, so the question here is, could I have prepared this better? Is this the right time to open the position, or should I have just put some my other pieces behind the pawns and prepare this even more? I still think after analysis, I think that this was a good moment to open the position, because yeah, I could put my pieces in the better places, but so can he. So if I'm postponing opening the position, I'm also giving him the opportunity to do the same, to put his pieces on the better position. So b takes c3, queen takes c3, okay, queen b4. Now I'm offering the exchange. Of course, I would welcome the exchange here, because now I have passed pawn. I can create passed pawn. This is what I was thinking. But yeah, now I'm not even so sure, seeing how the game went. I think yeah. But I mean, these pawns are connected, so this is very unpleasant for him, I think. So this is what I was thinking. Queen b4, queen c2, and now I played c3, and I'm very satisfied with this move. This is almost the winning move, especially given how he reacted to this, because now I have this stronghold, this passed pawn, which will be very strong. So I saw two options to respond. One option is to take the pawn, so b takes c3, and now I'm just penetrating with my rook with a tempo, attacking this guy. My next rook is ready to come, and well, I mean, it's a full penetration in his position. So this is one possibility I saw. The other possibility which he played was b3, and now I have this passed pawn, which ties up all his pieces. All his pieces have to take care and control this pawn. But the engine sees another opportunity. It's rook a to b1. Okay, so now if he takes, it comes with tempo. So I would have to take, and yeah, and if he takes with the queen, again I'm penetrating. So yeah, the engine solution is in fact similar, like taking him immediately. I mean, in any case, I'm penetrating c3 on c3. Okay, so he played b3 here, and now this position is evaluated. I'm not sure. Okay, I didn't write this down. I don't feel like turning the engine, but this is something like -2.5. So I'm practically winning here. Why? Because this pawn is tying up all his pieces, and all I have to do is to make constant pressures with my remaining pieces. I have to make constant pressure. I mean, pressuring this pawn, threatening a4, and so on, and waiting for him to crack. And he has at some point. But the important thing which I didn't understand during the game, and which I understand now, is that I'm not. It's not in my interest to exchange queens, because once I exchange queens, then this pawn becomes less of a problem, because he can put his king. He can put his king in front of the pawn, blocking the pawn. He can then. And then he can do whatever he wants. He has two rooks. He can just play the game, and it's very easy draw for him. And even he can have some winning chances, because he has two pawns against one here. There is this threat, and so on. So I didn't understand that I need my queen in order to make pressure pressures on the different sides of the board, and I don't want to exchange my queens. And this was the wrong understanding of positions of the position, which cost me this game, as you will see. So queen to b5. I wanted to exchange. I thought that exchanging queens was good for me, and this was a bad misjudgment. Rook a to d1. He doesn't even allow me to go here. Of course, if I come here, he let's say that this rook is here. Let's say that I play queen to d3. If he takes, I take. Then I have connected the pawns on the third rank, and they are unstoppable by the rooks. But yeah, chess is not checkers. He doesn't have to take. Okay, so rook a to d1, rook to f7. Now I'm trying to get another rook into play. Rook to f2, rook to a7. Okay, now I'm kind of preparing a4. But maybe the better thing to do here or later was to double the rooks and then make several threats by my queen. So if I double the rooks, then all his pieces are tied to prevent me for playing c2, which is very dangerous for him. And then by doubling rooks, I have my queen, not here, but rather here. I have my queen who is ready to roam and make several threats. Anyway, rook to a7, queen to b1. Yeah, this would be nice. So you can see, if my rooks were doubled, he couldn't have played this, because then just c2 will win the game. Rook to b7. I'm still trying to get a4. Queen to c2. Okay, let me just check my notes to see if there are some things I forgot to tell you. Okay, and now at this moment I played queen to b4. I was thinking about maybe this, something like these threats. I mean, if I go to queen a3, then I can go queen a2. This can be very dangerous for him. I can threaten this pawn. I can threaten a4 and so on. The engine thinks this is a blunder in the sense that I have missed the opportunity. So the engine gives like -3 or something here. So the engine thinks I'm much better, but the winning move was a4. So I should have played a4 here. And if he takes here, I don't mind sacrificing the pawn for a moment. I can just move away the queen, and now this is a very strong threat. So by sacrificing this pawn, I mean, this is temporary sacrifice, because he cannot hold this pawn forever. He can only guard it with the queen. He cannot even guard it with the rook. So if I play something like this, I can immediately get the pawn back. So it's temporary sacrifice of the pawn, but what it achieves that now I have opened the b file. I can come to b2. I can double if I want, and I don't have to care about these pawns. I mean, they are not a threat. Especially this guy on a4, he cannot be defended by the rook, so it's okay. So this queen b4 is a blunder, because this is a winning move according to the engine. Okay, but I play queen to b4, rook to e2. Now he wants to bring his king. This is his plan. And there is also one other variation which I saw in my analysis. So instead of queen to b4, I mean, I could have played queen to b4, but now after rook to e2, I just came back queen to b5. Why? Because, okay, I wanted to, for some reason I wanted to control d3, maybe to put my queen on d3, but also I was afraid of this pawn push here. The pawn could go. If my queen is not controlling this square, he could play, and then if I take, he activates his rooks. But this is I mean, I'm afraid of the threats which don't exist. His pieces, he needs all the 3 pieces to control the c file, the c pawn. So if he plays this d5 move and puts his rook on d5, I shouldn't care about this. I mean, I can tuck my king away, and eventually he'll have to come back if he wants to control the c file. So this is why I play queen to b3 in order to control this. But there were several better moves. So, for example, I could have just do the thing I should have done before. So, for example, put rook on c7, Now I'm controlling this square, and I can use my queen. So if he would play the same move he played, king to f2, then I can go to a2. And now what can he do against this? He can play something like queen to c1, and then I can just play c2, just advancing. He has to move his rook, which is under attack, and then I can just take e2, and this is winning. So I constantly missed this idea of doubling rooks, and then let my queen do the threats. Okay, so I played queen to b5, king to f2. He wants to bring his king to the help of controlling this pawn. I'm playing queen to a6. I mean, okay, terrible move. I guess I was so focused on this d3 that, yeah, I didn't know what better to do. I didn't have the understanding of the position which I have now. So this is why I do this analysis of the games, because now I understand this position, and hopefully if I get similar position in the future, I know how to handle it. So this is the whole point of this analysis. Rook to c1, and now I made this mistake, and by this move I just blew away my whole advantage. So before this move the evaluation was minus 2.6, and now it's 0.0. I mean, not yet 0.0, but after the exchange it will be 0.0. Okay, and he played very nice move, rook to d2, which I completely missed. You can see that my pawn is pinned, so I cannot take with the pawn. So he's now kind of forcing me to exchange queens. Of course, I can always go back, and this would be better. I still hold some advantage, but I thought that I should just exchange queens. And now after the exchange of queens, I mean, he can just put his king, block the pawn, and he'll have his rooks to do whatever he wants. And this is what happened. You can see that now, who is passive in this position? Now, I am passive. So my both rooks are passive. They are doing defensive task. And his both rooks are active. They're doing offensive, they're attacking. So his rooks are attacking, my rooks are defending. He's active, I am passive. Yeah. So I have this problem of having passive rooks very often. I saw it in my games, and I know from theory that having passive rooks is a death, but I keep doing this for some reason. Okay, now we are putting our kings to use. Okay, and now you can see that he moves his rook. He wants to block my pawn with the king, and then this rook he can do whatever he wants with this rook. I'm just putting up my king, which is not the best move, but it doesn't matter. King to c2, rook to b8. Okay, now I still want to. Only now I remembered. I realized that it will benefit me to open this b file to prepare a4 to penetrate via these files. So he played g4 here. Now he's expanding on the king side, and also he's preparing, like in the previous game with that WOM National Master. He's now opening the position on his own terms, and he's ready to open the position and activate his rook on the newly opened files. Okay, now I play a4. Okay, of course he cannot take because this check, and I will just take the rook. Okay, rook to b1. I take, he takes. Rook to a8. Okay, attacking the pawn. a3. Now the pawn is defended. And now this is one of the most interesting positions. I mean, the most instructive positions in the game. I mean, the first instructive moment is don't exchange queens. If you have the pawn who is ready to promote, who is making a pressure, you need all your pieces to make use of the passed pawn. And the second lesson is the lesson in activity. So I have two options here. You can see that my pawn is attacked twice, but you can also see that his pawn is attacked once and defended only once. So I have two options. One option is to put my a rook to c8 and defend the pawn. So this is the passive option. So both my rooks will have defensive roles, and they will be passive. This is one option. And the other option is playing the other rook, so the c rook to a7, attacking the pawn. So now, in this constellation, both of my rooks will be active. I will actively attack the a3 pawn. So, what did I do here? Of course, I did the wrong thing. Rook a to c8. And this is very, very instructive. Because in the rook endgames, the activity is everything. It doesn't matter if you have to sacrifice a pawn, if you have to do all kind of concession. You need to have active rooks. If you stuck with the passive rooks, or the passive rook, if there is only one rook, then it's, then you are lost. And this is exactly what I did. And I know this from theory, but for some reason I didn't apply this in my game. So this would be the better move. Now I'm active. Okay? And yeah, instead of this I played the passive move. Yeah, terrible. Okay, let me see what else did. Okay, I went through all this. Yeah, now I'm here. Okay, now both of my rooks are tied to defend the pawn. He has two attackers, and this rook is a master. I mean, he can do with this rook whatever he wants. So it's almost like he's playing with rook up here. Okay, rook to g2, king to d5. These moves are not the best moves, but okay, they have some logic behind them. The best move here was to take the pawn, but yeah, okay. It's too complicated. Rook to g1. I mean, he's not sure what to do with his rook, but okay, he can do whatever because I'm tied up. King to d6. I'm now going back. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to hold the position. It's a terrible situation. And now rook to a1. And now you can see that now suddenly white is better. Now suddenly white is the one who is making threats, who can push his passed pawn. My rooks are passive. Both of his rooks are active. So this rook is attacking, this rook is active. This rook is also active because it can move it wherever it wants, and now it supports the passed pawn. So now I decided to take my chasings on the king side, g5. G takes f5, e takes f5. Yeah, I know. Now he has two passed pawns. I saw this, but I didn't know what else to do. What better things could I do here? Rook to g1. And now I decided, okay, I cannot play with passive rooks. I cannot play without my rooks. I have to let this pawn go and try to do something on the king side. So I played rook to g7, hoping for some breaking and maybe activating rook from the king side. And now, okay, he could have taken the pawn immediately, but he wanted to force the rook exchange as well. And this is a good decision because he has two passed pawns. He wants to exchange pieces. This is a very instructive way. So my opponent at this, I mean, before I exchanged queens, I played better. I mean, in this game, I played better. I had better opening. I had better middle game. I had better structure, better piece activity. Everything was better, and I have this very strong c pawn. And you can see where the strength of the player and the experience comes into play. It's in these kind of positions in the end game. So at this moment, after the queen exchange, he's playing much better than me, and he's playing very instructive, very precise, very logical moves. And I mean, here you can see that why he's 1900 rated, and I'm not. I mean, exactly in this kind of positions. So you can see he could just have taken the pawn. But he said, okay, I'm not in a hurry to take the pawn, I can force the exchange. And then he played rook b6 check. I mean, I have to block, because otherwise he'll take my pawn. So he forced the exchange, and then he took... Sorry, he forced the exchange, and then he took the pawn. I mean, great play. g4, and now what does he do? He just closes the position. Now he will close the king side, and he has two passed pawns, and this is, I mean, from his perspective, very easy victory. Although he was in the match time trouble. He had like 2 minutes. At some point he was playing only on increment. But still, and I had like 20 minutes. So I had more time on the clock. But still, with his experience and his strength, he he managed to play this so good only on increment. So this is why he's 1900. Okay, now I played rook to b7, h5, completely locking my king side. And now he'll focus on these pawns. King to b8, now I'm kind of trying to stop this pawn. a4 check, again, excellent move. He's playing on increment and he's sacrificing the pawn just to get my king out of the way. I mean, great play for my opponent. King to a4, what else could I do? d4, now he's pushing his pawn. And here I didn't see that his plan and his winning plan was just to put the king on e5. And then he can just take all my pawns. I didn't see this at this moment. I mean, it was very stressful. Now I am also like under 10 minutes. He's playing on increment. It's very stressful, and this was one of the longest game on this round. So when you play a longer game, then all the players who finished the game before you, they want to see what's going on. So at this moment I was playing, and there were like 15 people around my table looking over the shoulder, because everybody wants to see the good endgame, and this looks like an interesting position, interesting endgame. And he was playing on the increment, hitting the clock very hard, very energetically, and this attracted the audience. And then I played, and 15 people around me, and yeah. So in all this, I didn't see this simple plan. So I put some checks, okay, and now he went here. Yeah, he's giving this pawn away, but he'll just take all my pawns now. I'm trying to get back with my king to stop this pawn, d6. I'm now stopping the pawn. He takes, I take, and he takes the pawn. Okay. I take his d pawn, and now he inserts check. I mean, he's picking up my other pawn. I mean, it's just one game. And now I played rook to e1, and I didn't even see this move. Now this he's check, and now he will win the second pawn, and this is game over. Okay. The game went on for like 8 moves, and then I resigned. But the problem is that in my sheet I didn't write the moves correctly. In fact, I think I missed one move, and then nothing made sense. And I played. I have written the moves from white in the column from black. So yeah, this is my sheet, and it's the notation doesn't make any sense. So like I said, all this pressure, time trouble, audience, everything. I guess I forgot to write one move, and then everything stopped making any sense. Okay, but anyway, you can see that this position is dead lost. And this is it. Okay, like I said, I played a good game, I played good openings, I have good middle game, I have reached a position which computer evaluates like -3 or something, but then one wrong decision, I exchanged queens. I didn't, I shouldn't exchange queens, and after I exchanged queens, we went into the endgame. The endgame was equal, but him being more experienced and more high rated and a stronger chess player, he played the endgame remarkably well. I can just learn from him, from this game. I have learned a lot from watching him play and analyzing how he played the game, and he played this very well. He outplayed me in the early game and won the game. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I will continue my series. I will analyze my next round on the channel, so stay tuned, and see you soon with more chess. Cheers.